Out artist that I can remember coming out of the Caribbean. Well, if Shawn Cox can land the sort of punches on Denis Lebedev that he landed on Wayne Braithwaite, it could be a very interesting and brief night. I think this one could be fiery.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be explosive, John.
Lebedev with a very good amateur pedigree. You see two port-siders, two southpaws. There's the left hand of Cox. That's his danger shot. There's no great science to the way in which he stands, pretty flat-footed and pretty open, and tries to detonate that big swinging left. But while he's in there, Lebedev knows that he's dangerous.
Nice sharp jab from Cox. Good left cross from Cox there.
That put Lebedev right back onto the back foot straight away. He felt the weight, how muscled that Cox is. 37 years old. Had a decent amateur record, almost a case of where's he been, but he turned pro at 32, and here he is trying to announce himself on the world stage.
He certainly did, John. He shook him up with that left cross.
Left hand from Lebedev. Little protest from Cox, the referee saying get on with it. He put Lebedev right onto his heels with that left cross.
And again catching him.
Well, the Russian knows that he can bang.
He needs to tuck that right shoulder around a little bit, does Lebedev. Blood coming from the nose of Lebedev already.
He's a formidably proportioned fighter, Cox. Whether or not he's technically good enough to stay with Lebedev, I'm not sure. And already another little suggestion to the referee that he thought some of those punches were low. And you don't really like to see a fighter protesting at such an early stage. That left hand cocked. Shane Cox looking to deliver, looking to swing the big knockout punch.
That's good movement from Lebedev there. He's trying to attack the body of Cox to slow him down, which is probably a good tactic.
Closing stages of an opening round where Lebedev may have landed more punches, but the biggest punch unquestionably came from Cox. Interesting opening round. Well, Lebedev landed more, Dean, but that one left hand in the early stages put Lebedev right onto his heels.
He certainly did, but he came back well in the round, and he sort of regrouped himself, and then he certainly came back with a little bit more quality at the end of the round. There's Costazu there giving him his instructions.
Lebedev, who beat Enzo Macronelli in 3 rounds at the MEN Arena back in 2009. 3 quick wins thereafter, but there's that left hand. And if you've got a banger like Shawn Cox, then there is always a danger. That's the low one. Well, he maybe had a point.
Yeah, I mean, it was on the border, wasn't it? Maybe just slightly below.
Power shots. Well, I think we've learnt from previous fights. For a moment there, I was going to respond to that graphic, but previous fights suggest maybe we ought to ignore that one. How did you score that first round? Lebedev? Or the punch, the power shot of Cox?
I would sit on the fence, John, and probably score the first round even.
OK. Committed for posterity. Left hand only just off target again. It's wild, but he really loads up Cox. And Lebedev looking wary.
He's certainly got to be sharp, Lebedev, and even though he's the champion, Lebedev.
That's a good shot.
That's a good shot.
Good punch from Lebedev, and that now puts Cox onto the back foot.
I was just about to say, John, even though he's the champion, he's really got to fight like the challenger, because I believe the way to fight Cox is to back him up, because the only way that a swinger's going to catch you is if you let him come to you.
Another good straight left hand from Lebedev. 2 quality shots already in this round, and as he swings off targets with that left hand, he left himself open, and now it's Lebedev who's pouring on the pressure.
He threw a good straight left followed by a left uppercut there. Good variety from Denis Lebedev.
One of those fights you don't want to take your eyes off. Cox technically looks to be out of his depth. Another one looked as though it was low to me. Right hand from Lebedev. He's got away with a couple of them.
It's another good left cross.
As he swings off balance with those big left hands, Cox, he does leave himself open to the counters.
And this is what Lebedev's got to do. He's got to back him up and let the punches go.
Good uppercut inside from Lebedev. There's good work and a nice left hand as well. And Cox is absorbing some big shots in this second round.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Lovely punch from Lebedev. Cox down in the second, and I'm not convinced he's going to get up.
It's all over, John.
The count's at 7, 8, 9. The fight is all over. He's out, and Lebedev in the second round, having been stunned by a big left hand from the man from Barbados in the first, has turned it around. More accurate, more well-schooled. Cox, strong, a big puncher, but at this level, maybe he was out of his depth.
Yeah, and also, John, you know, my Russian's not great, but I would imagine Kostazuz told him at the end of that first round, go out and back this guy up. You mustn't step off him, because the only time he's hit you is when he stepped off you with that big swing. Go and back him up, and set about him. That's exactly what he did.
Shawn Cox had his championship dream. He said he wanted this. He said he wanted a world title. He said he wanted to move up to heavyweight to be a world champion. But I'm afraid he found that it was just a dream, and the reality was that Denis Lebedev in that second round was just too good and too accurate.
Certainly was, John. And you know, I didn't like what Cox was doing in the first round. You know, he was complaining to the referee very early on in the fight. You know, it was kind of half bully mentality. I've hit you with my best shot, and now I'm going to complain when you've caught me a little bit low. It was a little bit disappointing for me, but...
Let's take a look again at how the end came.
Yes, great left cross, and he's pinpointed accuracy.
Michael Buffer confirming the result, and a spectacular knockout. We thought it would be short or sweet either way. Lebedev, of course, was a big favourite, and confirming that favouritism with the belt wrapped around his waist.
And I think it was both, John. It was short and sweet. He was certainly shaken up in the first round, Lebedev. He regrouped, and that's the way to go out and make a statement.
He thought that he was robbed against Marco Huck when they fought in Berlin. He wants another real big world title shot at 32. He knows that time is not really on his side, but that was a spectacular win. And Shawn Cox, well, he landed his big punch, but ultimately it wasn't enough.
Well, it was a split decision over in Germany, John. And, you know, we spoke earlier about this. Yeah, I think that says a lot. They certainly thought they were hard done by, and I think he certainly earned his